What happens when two of Hollywood's most beloved personalities sit down for what should be a lighthearted chat, only for things to spiral completely out of control? The tension in the studio became so unbearable that one of them actually walked off set, leaving everyone in absolute shock. This is the Kate Hudson and Kelly Clarkson interview that nobody saw coming, and you need to hear what was actually said to make things explode the way they did. Before we get into this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me what you think really caused this clash. Now let's dive into what actually went down. The interview started the way most of Kelly's conversations do, warm and welcoming. Kate settled into the guest chair with her usual radiant energy, and Kelly kicked things off with a question about Kate's latest film project. The response was enthusiastic, detailed, everything you would expect from a seasoned actor promoting their work. Kelly nodded along, laughing at the right moments, asking follow-up questions that seemed to flow naturally. For the first few minutes, this looked like every other celebrity interview on daytime television. Then Kelly shifted gears. She brought up Kate's family, specifically her mother, Goldie Hawn, and the legacy of working in Hollywood across generations. Kate's smile remained, but there was a flicker of something else in her expression, something more guarded. She gave a polite answer about feeling grateful for the opportunities her family background provided, but also wanting to be recognized for her own work and choices. Kelly jumped on that last part. So you feel like you've had to work harder to prove yourself because of your mom's success? Kelly asked, leaning forward slightly. Kate paused, her smile tightening just a fraction. I wouldn't say harder, I'd say differently. People have expectations, and I've always tried to exceed them on my own terms. Kelly nodded, but her next question came quick. But don't you think having those doors already open makes the journey a lot easier? I mean, most actors would kill for the connections you were born with. The shift in the room was subtle but undeniable. Kate's posture changed, her shoulders pulling back slightly. I think every path has its challenges, Kelly. Yes, I had access, but I also had a microscope on me from day one. Every role I took was compared to my mother's work. Every choice was scrutinized. That's not exactly easy. Kelly's expression remained friendly, but there was an edge creeping into her tone. I'm not saying it's easy, but let's be real. You didn't have to wait tables while going to auditions. You didn't have to wonder if you'd make rent while chasing a dream. There's privilege in that, right? Kate's smile vanished completely now. She took a measured breath before responding. Of course, there's privilege. I've never denied that. But privilege doesn't erase the work I've put in. The roles I've fought for, the times I've been told no because I was just Goldie Hawn's daughter and nothing more. I've built my career with my own hands. Kelly. Kelly leaned back in her chair, crossing her legs. I'm sure you have, but come on, your first major role. You had agents and managers ready to take your calls because of your last name. Most people don't get that. Most people have to claw their way up from nothing. The audience had gone quiet now, sensing the temperature change. Kate's jaw tightened visibly. And you think I don't understand that? You think I haven't been aware of that my entire life? I've spent years trying to separate myself from those assumptions, trying to prove that I'm more than just a legacy act. But are you though? Kelly asked, and the question hung in the air like a bomb waiting to detonate. Kate stared at her, eyes widening slightly. Excuse me. Kelly doubled down. I'm asking genuinely. When people think of Kate Hudson, do they think of your performances, or do they think of Goldie Hawn's daughter, who also acts? Because there's a difference. Kate's voice dropped lower, controlled but simmering. That's incredibly disrespectful. Kelly, I've been in this industry for over 2 decades. I've been nominated for awards. I've carried films. I've built a production company. I've created a wellness brand. I am not defined by my mother, no matter how much people like you want to reduce me to that. Kelly held up her hands in a mock defensive gesture. I'm not trying to reduce you. I'm just pointing out what a lot of people think. And honestly, when you look at the roles you've gotten, the opportunities that have come your way, can you really say with a straight face that your name didn't play a part? Kate's voice rose now, the control slipping. Of course, it played a part. I just said that. But what you're doing right now is dismissing everything I've accomplished as if it's all just handed to me on a silver platter. That's not journalism. Kelly, that's just mean. Kelly's eyebrows shot up. Mean I'm asking you to acknowledge reality. You've had advantages most people will never have, and instead of owning that fully, you're acting like you're some underdog who had to fight for everything. I never said I was an underdog, Kate shot back, her voice sharp now. But I also refuse to sit here and let you imply that I haven't earned my place. Do you know how many times I've been passed over for roles because casting directors thought I was too privileged to play a struggling character? Do you know how many times I've had to prove myself in rooms where people already decided who I was before I even opened my mouth? Kelly shrugged, and that casual gesture seemed to ignite something in Kate. You're shrugging. Really, this is my life, my career, and you're sitting here shrugging like it's nothing. I'm shrugging because I think you're being defensive about something that's just factual. Kelly replied, her tone matter of fact. You had a head start. That's not an insult, it's just true. Kate stood up abruptly, the movement so sudden that Kelly actually flinched. You know what, Kelly? I came here to talk about my work, to have a conversation, not to be put on trial for the circumstances of my birth. This isn't an interview, it's an ambush. Kelly remained seated, looking up at Kate with an expression that mixed surprise and something else, maybe satisfaction. An ambush? I'm asking you questions that everyone's thinking. Isn't that what good interviews do? Good interviews don't tear down their guests, Kate said, her voice shaking now with barely contained anger. Good interviews create space for honest conversation, not this, whatever this is. The studio had gone completely silent. Kelly finally stood up too, matching Kate's energy. You're right, let's have an honest conversation then. Let's talk about how you've built this entire brand around being relatable and down to earth, but you're literally the daughter of Hollywood royalty. How is that relatable? Kate's eyes flashed. Because my experiences are real, Kelly. Because I've raised kids, I've gone through divorce. I've dealt with loss and heartbreak and self-doubt just like everyone else. Money and connections don't shield you from being human, but they shield you from a lot of other things, Kelly countered. They shield you from wondering how you're going to pay for your kids' education. They shield you from real financial fear. And yet you sell workout programs and wellness products to women who are actually struggling, making them think you understand their lives. Kate's hands clenched at her sides. I have never, ever, claimed to understand everyone's struggles. What I've done is share what works for me and created products that I believe in. If people connect with that, it's because they choose to, not because I'm manipulating them. Kelly laughed, and it was not a warm sound. Come on, Kate, your whole brand is built on this idea that you're just like everyone else. Just a mom trying to stay healthy and happy. But you're not like everyone else. You have personal trainers, you have chefs, you have nannies, you have resources that most of your customers will never have access to. So what? I should just not share anything because I have privilege. Kate's voice was rising again. I should just stay silent because my life doesn't look like everyone else's. That's ridiculous, Kelly. By that logic, you shouldn't be hosting a talk show because you're a millionaire who won a singing competition. Where's your struggle now? The audience gasped collectively, and Kelly's face hardened. That's completely different, and you know it. I came from nothing. I worked my way up from poverty. Everything I have, I earned without anyone handing it to me. And I respect that, Kate said, her voice tight. I have always respected that about you, but what you're doing right now is using your story to invalidate mine, and that's not fair either. We can both exist, Kelly. We can both have value without tearing each other down. Kelly shook her head. I'm not tearing you down, I'm holding you accountable. There's a difference. You profit off of selling this image that you're accessible and real, but you're not. You're selling a fantasy. Kate's laugh was bitter. A fantasy? You think my life is a fantasy? You think being judged constantly, being reduced to my mother's shadow, having every relationship dissected by tabloids, that's a fantasy. You think raising children in the public eye where every parenting choice is criticized is a fantasy. Those are problems that come with fame and fortune, Kelly said flatly. They're not the same as real problems. They're not wondering if you can afford groceries. They're not choosing between paying rent or paying for medicine. Kate stepped closer, her voice dropping to something more intense, more dangerous. You don't get to decide what qualifies as real problems. Kelly, pain is pain. Struggle is struggle. Just because mine doesn't look like yours doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And frankly, I'm appalled that someone who talks so much about kindness and empathy on this show is sitting here gatekeeping suffering. Kelly's eyes narrowed. I'm not gatekeeping anything. I'm pointing out hypocrisy. You sell products that cost money to people who don't have money, promising them they can have what you have if they just try hard enough. But they can't, because they don't have what you started with. That is so reductive. Kate fired back. My wellness brand isn't about promising anyone they'll look like me or live like me. It's about offering tools and resources for people to feel better in their own lives. And yes, products cost money because they cost money to make. I'm not running a charity, I'm running a business. A business I built myself. By the way, Kelly tilted her head. With startup capital you had access to because of your wealth and connections. Most people can't just decide to launch a company because they don't have the safety net you have. If your business fails, you're still fine. If most people's businesses fail, they lose everything. Kate's hands went up in frustration. What do you want from me, Kelly? What would make you happy? Should I apologize for being born into the family I was born into? Should I give away everything I have? Should I stop working, stop creating, stop trying to build something because it might make someone feel bad? Tell me, what would satisfy you? I want honesty, Kelly said, her voice firm. I want you to stop pretending that you're just like everyone else when you're not. I want you to acknowledge your privilege without the defensiveness. I want you to recognize that the playing field was never level for you, and that maybe, just maybe, that's affected the opportunities you've received. Kate's voice was shaking now, a mix of anger and something that sounded like hurt. I have acknowledged it. I acknowledged it at the beginning of this conversation. I've acknowledged it in interviews for years. But what you're asking me to do is grovel, to diminish my own accomplishments, to act like everything I've done is worthless because I had advantages. I won't do that, Kelly. I can't do that. Nobody's asking you to grovel, Kelly said, though her tone suggested otherwise. I'm asking you to be real, to stop hiding behind this carefully crafted image and admit that yes, you've had it easier than most people, and yes, that matters. Kate's voice rose to almost a shout. Easier in some ways, harder in others. Why is that so difficult for you to accept? Why does everything have to be black and white? Why can't I have had advantages and still worked hard? Why can't both things be true? Because when you're selling products and influence to regular people, the advantages matter more. Kelly shot back. When you're asking people to buy into your lifestyle, they deserve to know that your lifestyle isn't achievable for them, no matter how hard they work or how much of your product they buy. Kate stared at her, breathing hard. You are so focused on tearing me down that you can't even hear what I'm saying. I have never promised anyone that buying a supplement or doing a workout will give them my life. I've shared what helps me, and people are free to take it or leave it. That's it. That's all it's ever been. Kelly crossed her arms. And you profit from it, handsomely, all while maintaining this facade of being just another mom figuring it out. It's not a facade, Kate said, her voice cracking slightly. I am a mom figuring it out. Yes, I have help. Yes, I have resources, but I still have doubts. I still have fears. I still struggle with things. My struggles looking different than someone else's doesn't make them fake. Kelly opened her mouth to respond, but Kate cut her off, her voice rising again. And you know what's really rich about this whole conversation? You sitting here on your talk show, in your designer chair, with your production team and your millions of dollars, lecturing me about privilege and accessibility. You think you're so different from me, but you're not. You've become exactly what you're criticizing me for. The color drained from Kelly's face, then rushed back in a flush of anger. How dare you? I worked for everything I have. Nobody gave me anything. And I'm not saying they did, Kate said, her voice lower now but no less intense. But you have privilege now, Kelly. You have power now. You have influence now, and you're using it to humiliate me on national television. So, who's the hypocrite here? Kelly's voice went cold. This isn't about humiliating you. This is about having a real conversation that goes beyond the usual promotional nonsense. I thought you could handle that. Kate's laugh was sharp and humorless. Handle it? You're not having a conversation, Kelly. You're conducting an interrogation. You're twisting everything I say, dismissing my experiences, and acting like you're some moral authority on who deserves what in this industry. Maybe someone needs to be, Kelly replied. Maybe someone needs to ask the questions that everyone else is too polite to ask. Maybe that's what actual journalism looks like, instead of just letting celebrities come on and spin whatever narrative they want. Kate shook her head slowly, her expression shifting from anger to something closer to disbelief. Journalism, is that what you think this is? You're not exposing some hidden truth, Kelly, you're just being cruel. There's a difference between asking tough questions and attacking someone. Kelly stepped closer now, the space between them shrinking. If you think this is an attack, then maybe you're more fragile than you want people to believe. Maybe all that work you've done to prove yourself hasn't actually given you the thick skin you claim to have. Or maybe I just expected basic respect when I agreed to come on your show, Kate countered, her voice steady despite the obvious emotion behind it. Maybe I thought that two women in this industry could have a conversation without one of them trying to destroy the other for ratings. Kelly's eyes flashed. For ratings? You think I'm doing this for ratings? I'm doing this because I'm tired of watching people like you coast on privilege, while actual working people struggle and then buy your products thinking it'll change their lives. Kate took a deep breath, visibly trying to compose herself. You keep saying people like me, as if you know me, as if you understand my journey, my choices, my life. But you don't, Kelly. You've decided who I am based on where I came from, and nothing I say is going to change your mind because you've already written the story. The story writes itself, Kelly said dismissively. Hollywood legacy kid becomes Hollywood star, sells lifestyle brand to regular people, maintains image of being relatable despite living in a completely different universe. It's not complicated. Kate's composure cracked further. You are so invested in your own narrative about me that you can't see the actual person standing in front of you. I came here in good faith, Kelly. I came here thinking we could have a genuine exchange. Instead, you've spent the entire time trying to catch me in some kind of gotcha moment. The crime of pretending to be something you're not, Kelly said quietly, but the words landed like a slap. Kate's eyes welled up, and she blinked rapidly, refusing to let tears fall. I have never pretended to be anything other than who I am. Flawed, privileged in some ways, disadvantaged in others. Trying my best, making mistakes, learning, growing. That's all any of us are doing. But you've decided that because I had certain advantages, I'm not allowed to have struggles. Kelly's expression remained hard. You're allowed to do whatever you want. I'm just saying that maybe you should be more honest about what it took to get where you are. I have been honest. Kate's voice broke slightly. But honest isn't enough for you, is it? You want me to flagellate myself. You want me to disavow my own work? You want me to say that everything I've accomplished means nothing because I had help along the way. Well, I won't do it, Kelly scoffed. Nobody's asking you to apologize for existing. Stop being so dramatic. That word, dramatic, seemed to be the final straw. Kate's entire body tensed, and when she spoke again, her voice was quiet but lethal. Dramatic, there it is. When a woman stands up for herself, defends her work, refuses to be diminished, she's being dramatic. If I were a man, you'd call me passionate or strong. But because I'm a woman, showing emotion right now, I'm dramatic. Kelly rolled her eyes. Oh, please, don't make this about gender. This is about you being called out and not liking it. This is absolutely about gender, Kate said, her voice rising again. You're doing exactly what men have done to women in this industry for decades. You're using your platform to tear down another woman, to make her seem less than, to diminish her accomplishments. Kelly's face flushed deeper. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm trying to have an honest conversation, which apparently is impossible with you. Kate's hands were shaking now. You don't get to decide what inspires people. Kelly, you don't get to tell women what they should or shouldn't connect with. If someone finds value in what I share, in what I create, that's between them and me. I'm not policing anything, Kelly insisted. I'm using my platform to ask questions that matter. Your platform, Kate repeated, her voice hollow now. Your platform that you're using to bully me. Your platform that you're using to make yourself feel superior by making me feel small. Kelly's eyes narrowed dangerously. If you feel bullied by basic questions about your privilege and your business practices, then maybe you're not as strong as you pretend to be. Kate stared at her for a long moment, and something in her expression shifted. The anger drained away, replaced by something sadder, something resigned. You know what, Kelly, you're right. I'm not strong enough to sit here and continue this. I'm not strong enough to keep defending myself to someone who's already decided I'm guilty. Kelly frowned. What are you saying? Kate reached down and removed her microphone, the small pack attached to her waistband. She placed it carefully on the chair she'd been sitting in earlier. I'm saying I'm done. This interview is over. Kelly's eyes widened. You're walking out. I am, Kate said simply, because staying here would mean accepting that this is how women should treat each other. And I don't accept that. You can't just leave in the middle of an interview, Kelly said, and there was a hint of panic in her voice now. Kate picked up her purse. Watch me. You wanted honesty, Kelly? Here's some honesty. This has been one of the most uncomfortable, disrespectful experiences of my career. You didn't interview me, you attacked me, and I'm not going to stand here and pretend that's acceptable. Kelly opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. If you walk out, it's going to look like you can't handle criticism. Kate laughed, but there was no humor in it. Let it look however it looks. I know the truth. I know what happened here today. My mental health and my self-respect are worth more than worrying about how this plays to an audience. She turned toward the exit, then paused and looked back at Kelly one more time. I hope whatever you were trying to accomplish here was worth it, because from where I'm standing, all you've done is prove that hurt people hurt people. Kelly's face went pale, then red. Don't you dare psychoanalyze me. And you don't know anything about me, Kate replied quietly. But that didn't stop you, did it? With that, Kate turned and walked toward the studio exit. The cameras followed her, capturing every step. The audience sat in stunned silence. Kelly remained frozen near her chair, her mouth slightly open, her expression caught between shock and something that might have been regret. Kate reached the door, pushed it open, and walked through without looking back. The door swung shut behind her with a soft thud that somehow sounded deafening in the silent studio. Kelly finally moved, turning to face the cameras, her face a mask of conflicting emotions. She opened her mouth as if to address the audience, but no words came out. After a moment, she simply shook her head and looked toward her producers off camera. The cameras kept rolling, capturing the aftermath of something that had gone so far off the rails that nobody quite knew how to end it. So what do you think? Was Kelly right to push Kate on these issues, or did she cross a line? Was Kate too defensive, or was she justified in walking out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe because this kind of unfiltered celebrity drama is exactly what we cover on this channel. Let me know, do you think Kate and Kelly will ever be able to work together again after this?